what am I gonna do all by myself on my first day of my real estate business? The first thing I would do on day one is anyone can really do admin. I mean, some are better than others, but not everyone can do prospecting. So you can't get an admin assistant to do prospecting. They don't like it, they're not gonna do it, they're not gonna do it well, they're gonna avoid it. But you can get an associate to do some admin. I did 4 hours of hardcore prospecting every single day for at least the first year, and it served me very, very well. Any business owner that wants to start a business and make sure that they're going to be successful, this is an absolute no-brainer. It's essential. You've got to get your prospecting times locked in and you've got to stick to it. The third thing I would do in week one is I would create goals that must be hit. Agents, welcome to the Get Keen podcast, your number one destination for learning how to get the most out of your real estate career. I'm Dan Lee, founder of Plum Property, one of Queensland's largest independent real estate offices, and Plum Partners, where we've helped dozens of agents create, run, and grow their very own agencies. On Get Keen, I chat to high-performing agents, principals, and agency owners, so you have the tools, strategies, and insights to grow your business and live the best life for yourself and your family. Now let's get keen. I want you to imagine something for me. I want you to imagine that you've just started your own real estate agency, okay? You're the only one that works there. You don't have any team, no admin, no sales team, just you and a dream. And your dream is in that 7 years' time, you'll have a big business, a sales force, a property management division, and you'll be able to step down from sales to pursue whatever you want next. Here's the problem. Most agents with that dream will fail within the first 12 months because they don't have a plan. But today I'm going to give you the exact blueprint to make that happen. How can I do that? Because I did this exact journey myself. From a solo agent in an apartment to a multi-million-dollar agency. Today, I'm walking you through the moves you need to make on day one, the hires you need to make in year one to double your capacity, and the leadership decisions in year three that will get you to $10 million in revenue. Whether you want to build a large agency and step back, or you're an agent that wants to earn millions in GCI with a team backing you, this episode is going to help you get there. So if you're serious, pay attention. Okay, so we're at day one of you with your agency. You open the doors to your new brand. And let's assume, because you're such a small agency, that you're running this out of a home office or a garage. And that's what I would do on my first day, because that would keep costs very lean. And if I was all by myself, what's the point in having a big established commercial premises or anything, right? So what am I gonna do all by myself on my first day of my real estate business? The first thing I would do on day one is map out a plan of attack for all of the tasks that need doing within my business. So identifying all those tasks, okay? Because there's going to be some admin tasks with, setting everything up and, managing contracts and, managing just your clients that you've got. So there's the admin. Then there's the prospecting, okay? So there's your calls, there's your lettered box drops, there's the door knocking, there's all of that time that you need to put into that to get business. And then there's the marketing side. So, the social media side of things, any video, testimonials, what are we getting out there to be visible in the marketplace? So those are 3 examples of things that are going to take up your time. But I would identify all of the things that need doing, and then I would put them into 3 categories. They're either gold, they're silver, or they're lead, right? Gold tasks are tasks that have to be done. They're non-negotiable tasks. So those non-negotiables are the prospecting, the bringing business in, the tasks that actually push the business forward. The silver, the administrative tasks that need to be done in order for the business to operate, okay? And then, and that's things like your photos for your properties, you're building and pest inspections, you're going out to show buyers through properties. These things have to be done. And then there's the third things, which are the lead. And that's all the little things that just get in the way that we still kind of need to do, but they should always come last. Those are things like low value prospecting, like letterbox drops. It's things like, putting together a brochure that you're going to send out. There's hundreds of them. Okay. I can't think of all of them in my mind, but there's a lot of tasks that take up our time that don't actually push the business forward in a strong way. Okay. And I would create a perfect week around these admin tasks. Okay. So that's the second thing I would do. So this would probably be in week 1 as well. I would create the perfect week and calendar. And that's what I did. In my first week, I sat down and I created the perfect week. Now, I didn't fill out every single hour of the day what I would be doing in that perfect week, because I found that I've tried to do that and real estate's pretty messy, like things fly at you all the time. And I found that having every single hour blocked in the day for different things just didn't work. So what I did instead is I just got all of the gold activities. So that is the door knocks, the cold calls, the calling past clients and sellers and buyers, all of the things that I know generate business. Those are the gold activities. And I would schedule out 4 hours of time every day to be doing those activities. Now, I was religious with this. 4 hours every day. Now, there's no correct way to do this, whether it's morning or night or afternoon. That's for you to figure out with your marketplace, your calendar, with your family time. Some people need to pick their kids up. Some people, depends when you get to work. And it also depends on the marketplace, when you feel you're getting the best responses from people. So you need to work that out. But for me, that perfect time was 1 hour in the morning. And it was from 9 o'clock till 10 o'clock. I would always make calls every day. I would start my day with the calls. And the reason I did it from 9 till 10 wasn't because of the pickup rate. It was because my energy was the best at that time of the day. I have the best conversations. I'm wittier, I'm quicker, I'm just sharp at that time. But my pickup rate and connection rate was never as good. So I only blocked out an hour from 9 till 10. And then I would always do 3 hours of prospecting from 3 till 6. Every single day I did that. Not a day went by where I did not do that. The only days that I didn't do that was when a listing presentation would get in the way. Okay, so a listing presentation meaning I'm about to get some business. So, and if that would happen, if I was about to get some business and it had to go in this block, then I would shift that block of calls either earlier or to the next day. So I would double down the next day. I did 4 hours of hardcore prospecting every single day for at least the first year. And it served me very, very well. Let me tell you, I listed and sold around 42 properties in my first year out on my own by myself, although I did get a sales associate halfway through the year, and I made $950,000 in commission. This is back in 2016. So mind you, prices have probably doubled since then. So call it 1.5 these days with hardly a team and working out of a 2-bedroom unit, okay? And that I can honestly say was mostly due to my strict plan of prospecting that I never missed. So that is what I would do, and I would have an action plan of prospecting, and I just would never miss those. The other tasks, the silver, the bronze, they can be fit into any other hour of the day where that prospecting is not. And I think for any real estate agent that wants to get serious, any business owner that wants to start a business and make sure that they're going to be successful, this is an absolute no-brainer. It's essential. You've got to get your prospecting times locked in, and you've got to stick to it. Okay. The third thing I would do in week 1 is I would create goals that must be hit. So for me, it was a monthly thing, and this worked for my entire career. And I got off to a very strong start as a young real estate agent in my 20s as well. Like within the first year, I was being nominated for LJ Hooker's Rising Star. I was making hundreds of thousands in GCI, in my early 20s. And I did this by solely focusing on one goal. And that was, I had a specific area that I wanted to list and sell. And I made it a goal that every single month I had to get through 30 homes a month. However I got through them, it didn't matter whether it was cold calls, whether it was door knocks, whether they called in because I sent some letters out, but I had to get through 30 doors, meaning I had to meet 30 owners of properties within my patch that I was designated and committed to. I just worked out, if I do that for a whole year, I'll meet 360 people. So 12 times 30, 360. I will meet 360 owners of property. I will create a relationship with them. And based on the sales data of my area, which was 7% of homes selling every year, in the following 12 months, out of those 360 people, there would be roughly 25 of those would sell. And if 25 of those sold in the following year, if I had met them, made a relationship with them, and then from that day continued to stay in touch and feed them information about what's going on in the area, I should be at least be invited back to maybe half of them to present for an appraisal to get the business. And that's exactly what happened. So the more of that you do, the more of it you get. Everyone knows this in real estate. The more people you present to, the more people you know, the more opportunities you're going to get. So that is just solely what I would focus on, is a goal. Now, whether that's going to be an amount of listing presentations per month that you do, or an amount of appraisals or amount of pieces of data you add to the database, I would focus on appraisals, owners met within your area, because that's something that will always be of value for a long period of time and it's guaranteed to pay you back. So make some goals that you have to hit. Don't focus on too many goals as well. So, don't have a goal of, I've got to do 50 sales and I've got to do $1 million in GCI and I've got to do this and I've got to do this and doing this. Sometimes it's simple as literally just focusing on one goal. And my goal was 30 appraisals through 30 new homes every single month. And that's all I focused on, and it set me up for success. So number 4 is, after you have opened your agency, been going for a couple of months, you started to get some listings and they're starting to sell. So you've made some money and you're working really hard. The next thing you need to do is start looking for a sales associate. That is always the next move in a salesperson's career in terms of hiring. Some people believe that you go out and get an admin assistant. I believe the first thing you want is someone who can help you do admin, but who can also help you to prospect, because there's so much prospecting that needs to be done. It's the most important thing that needs to be done because it's what brings in business. Admin does not bring in business. And what I would find is that anyone can really do admin. I mean, some are better than others, but not everyone can do prospecting. So you can't get an admin assistant to do prospecting. They don't like it. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it well. They're going to avoid it. But you can get an associate to do some admin. They may not be as fast. They may not be as accurate, but a sales associate can help you with admin and prospecting. And if you can get that right balance, and with a sales associate, I would look at giving them, when they start with you, a role of 50% admin and 50% prospecting. Then you're going to get the best of both worlds. You're going to be able to delegate a lot of tasks to that sales associate, things like creating brochures, dropping brochures, going to do photo shoots, organizing your open homes on the weekend, all of this kind of stuff, going and getting keys cut, all these little things. You can give them a bunch of that stuff so you can free up some of your time, but then you can also get them to make 2 to 3 hours calls a day and book you in more of those face-to-face appraisals, presentations, whatever. But you're going to be not necessarily doubling down on prospecting. Well, you could be doubling, but at least 1.5xing to 2xing your prospecting that's happening. And if there's 2 times the amount of prospecting happening, over time, not immediately, but 6 months to a year down the track, you will start to see the fruits of that prospecting from the extra effort come through. More and more opportunities will start happening, and the snowball effect starts to happen. That's step number 4. Hey guys, just quickly, if you're loving this content and you're a real estate agent that's already thinking what it might be like to have your own real estate business and brand, then check out the show notes. There'll be a link to our Plum Partners website where you can leave an inquiry and me or one of my team members will reach out. We help agents to create, run, and grow their own real estate business and brand so they can earn more and set up a better future for themselves. So get keen, get in touch. Now let's get back to the episode. Number 5 is once that sales associate is on and you and that sales associate are now cranking up to, holding 10 to 15 listings at any time, you're pretty flat strapped. On the weekend, you're doing 4 open homes each at least, or 8 together, and you're making, say, 3 to 4 sales a month with the two of you. You're doing really good, but you'll both be very busy and you'll start to get to a point where capacity's full, your service is starting to slip, and you really need someone else on the team. Now, at this stage, what you need is probably not another sales associate, although that's not going to hurt you. You really need someone who's going to organize you, and you and your associate, you can fully dedicate all administration tasks to this person, and that frees up you and your associate to focus even more on prospecting. So you're going to start looking for a team/office manager. And I would expect, if you're on a good roll, that this is going to happen sometime between the 9-month mark and the 2-year mark. You're going to look for this office manager, and your team's going to go from 2 to 3, and you're going to increase your capacity again. At this point, when you have this third team member, so you, an associate, and an office/team manager, your capacity can now go to 60 to 100 sales in a year, which is quite a lot. And at this point, you are really starting to make an impact in your community. You are starting to look, and you are probably one of the highest performing agents in your area. You are looking very attractive as a business to work for. People are looking up to you. People are wondering, what is this person doing? What is this agent doing to have so much success? And things are looking really good for you at this point. But now there's a next level of growing the business, okay? So sometime between year 1 and year 2, you may have the opportunity, because you're earning money, things are going well, you may have the ability here to start a property management division. Now, this is a really important step in building a real estate business. I think it's a brilliant thing to do, but don't be naive about it. It is a lot of hard work. I've seen a lot of agents make some big mistakes starting a property management division, and it's ended in complete disaster for them, and they wish they never do it. The key thing to opening a property management division is to find the right person to start it with. Okay, the biggest challenge of starting a property management division as a salesperson principal is you don't have the time to deal with it. Okay, there's already, all your time is taken off in sales. You're trying to push towards 100 sales here. You're making good commissions. You've got your own team. You do not have any time to manage a property management division. No time for tenants, no time for the owners, no time for it whatsoever. So you need the right person in place to actually kick things off and get this thing going, because you and your sales team are going to be bringing in leads, flicking them over, and that's your role. That's all you should be doing. So this right person needs to be someone who's committed, who's going to stick with you. They're not just some random property manager that you've just put on who's going to handle things for a little while, because what happens if they leave? This is the biggest challenge. I see it all the time is agent, principal, I'm going to start a property management division because that's the way to make it rich. That's how you sell your business at the end of the day, right? They just go hire anyone. They start this property management division. It gets up to 10 or 20, and the person they hired leaves. What happens? You have no idea how to manage this property management department. You've got 20 properties to manage, and you're trying to be a salesperson. You'll rip your hair out. And all of a sudden, you're trying to hire someone else. You're going to make a bad decision, get someone else in your business. And this keeps happening back and forth. This person comes into this mess of a business. They don't even want to be there now, and they leave. And then you don't even know what you're doing. And a lot of people end up just selling the rent roll out of pure stress and frustration when they get to 40 or 50, because they never set it up properly in the beginning. So at that point, if you do want to start the property management division, I promise you, this is the best piece of advice I can give. You have to find someone who's going to have a vested interest in it, who can do a little bit of BDM and property management. They don't even necessarily have done it before. They just have to be committed. And so I would find someone who maybe you can share a 10%, 20% initial offering into the business so that they have some skin in the game, so they're fully committed. This is their baby. They're not going to leave you when things get tough. So that's going to happen sometime between years 1 and 2, maybe a little bit later because finding that right person is the biggest challenge. Okay. The next thing is marketing, right? In the beginning, you're going to block out some time. And when you have an associate or an office manager, you should put it all into them. But you've got to block out a little bit of time for marketing. In the beginning, I would just focus on the really simple stuff. Getting a flyer out once a month bulk. I'd focus on an email out to my database once a month. And I would focus on a social media post and testimonial from clients that I sold. There's only so much you can do on your own, so you can't try and do too much marketing. Just do the basics, but do them well. Once you have built a team and you get to office manager size, you can scale up the marketing. Look at things like billboards, bus stops, extensive social media programs. But these things take a lot of time, and you need to be able to delegate this stuff. Until that time, don't spend too much of your time on the marketing, because marketing does not bring you in as many listings as pure hard effort on the phones and door knocks, okay? You'll always get more from that. Marketing is great for layering on top of that hard foundation work that you're already doing. Okay, the next step that you're going to do is recruitment. Now, when would I start recruiting? I would start recruiting immediately. What I'm mainly talking about here is recruiting of salespeople. Okay, so when you start an agency, most people have the dream of being able to go out there and recruit other experienced salespeople into their business, and then that's instant revenue into the business. These people are already experienced, they've already got the wheels moving, and they just need to provide some support to that agent as the business and the business owner, and that agent's going to bring in revenue into the business. Now, you do that with 10 people, you've got a great business. So recruitment, when should you start doing it? I see a lot of agents, they start their business, and I'm encouraging them to go out there and meet agents and have coffees when their business is small, but they have this fear of doing it because they're like, oh no, I'm not big enough yet, no one's going to join me. Well, someone's got to join you to begin with for it to grow. So start straight away. And I'll tell you something. I'll tell you some stories. They may not start immediately, but they will remember you, and they may join later. Okay. A story I've got for you is that when I first started my agency, right, I was starting it out of my apartment, and I recruited 2 agents to join me on opening day, right? And this was planned out for 3 to 4 months. These agents were joining. We had the day of the start date. 1 week before I was due to launch, one of them called me and they bailed. They said, Dan, I've had some advice. They think it's a terrible idea. You don't have a premises. I'm not ready. I'm not going to do it. I was like, oh no, all my projections of our revenue were all altered, but I still had this one other guy that was coming. You wouldn't believe it. 3 days later, I saw him calling me on my phone at like 8:30 at night. I'm like, my gut just sank. I knew it. I knew he was going to bail on me. I said, hello, mate. And he goes, mate, I got some bad news. I'm like, oh my God. Both my starters that were going to start the business with me bailed on me in a week before. And I said, the show must go on. I opened it anyway. And guess what? Both those agents joined my business 2 years later, okay? The difference was I was more established, and I'd proven that the business worked, and that's what they needed to see. So just because you're a new business and you've just started, you should start recruiting straight away, because it's like a listing. You need to build a relationship first, and they'll join later. You can't just get to a size and then go and meet these agents and they're going to join you straight away. The main reason why they're joining is because they like you. The main reason why they're joining is because they've built a relationship with you, they have trust in you, and now they've seen you go through the journey of a small business to actually making something of yourself, that they actually feel so comfortable that this is the right time. You don't want to be meeting them later, meet them straight away. Now, you've built up a good business over 3 years now. Your sales are going great. You've got a team of 2 or 3. You may have recruited 3 or 4 salespeople. You've got 12 to 20 people in your business. You're 3 to 5 years in. Okay, this is where you need to really just knuckle down and outwork everybody. Now, you're going to be outworking everybody in years 1 to 3, right? But now you're starting to make some money. And this is a mistake I see, is some people then step off the gas at this 3 to 5 year mark. No. Don't take your foot off the pedal yet. This is where you really need to ramp up, because going from small, medium to large is a very big step, and you need to outwork everybody, right? You need to be the highest performing agent in your office if you are a selling principal. Now, when I say that, you don't want to be in like stealing listings off your team, but you need to lead by example. You need to be showing up, being seen on the phone, making lots of calls, selling lots of property, and showing your agents how it's done. And others will follow your example. So your sales team will build on the energy that you're putting in. Now, years 3 and beyond, you need to become an expert in delegation, okay? Because you're going to get so busy. You're going to have all these people coming to you all the time. They want your time. They want to pull you into that little world of theirs. And you're trying to list, you're trying to sell, you're trying to manage all the expectations of everyone. It gets really hard and stressful. So you need to become an expert in delegation, right? And each year, I would suggest you write down all the things that you're doing in a week, and you try and take 4 or 5 of those things off your plate, right? You become an expert in delegation so that you don't do any administration whatsoever in your business. That's down to your emails. That's down to every appointment that is outside a great buyer or seller appointment. Anything that involves you having to do something that is not focused on high value things needs to go to other people in your team. Okay, so you need to build that strong admin team around you. You are still the focus of the business. You are the most important asset to your business. So you need the most support. And if you have the most support, your business is going to continue to grow, okay? The next thing is you want to aim to become a $10 million revenue, okay? That is the goal. If you want to step down from sales, $10 million in revenue is the number. Now, of that $10 million revenue, by this time, if you're say 6 or 7 years in, you might have a rent roll of somewhere between 6 and 900. That could be bringing in say 1.5 to 2.5 million dollars in revenue. The rest of the revenue is going to come from your sales in your little sales hub and the rest of the sales team. That's going to be the next 7.5, 8 million to $8.5 million of revenue. But just remember that a lot of that revenue needs to be given to your salespeople, because they're going to be on commission splits of 55, 60, 65, whatever you've agreed with them. Then there's GST, then there's office expenses, then there's everything else that comes with it. So of that, $7.5, $8 million revenue, there may only be $1.5 million left at the end of that. Right, which is still really good, don't get me wrong, but this is before you've even paid yourself a cent, okay? So you need to get to that 10 million if you want to then be able to step back and to be able to pay yourself. And by this stage, you've probably got a couple, maybe another business partner, some other people that have percentage shareholdings in the business. So those profits aren't just all going to yourself. They're going to need to be spent on investing into the business for the next year. They're going to be, any dividends are going to be split up between all shareholders of the business. So that's kind of the point where the business can afford for you to step back, but you can't stop working, because if you step back from sales, all of your sales income is gone. And that is a big chunk of the revenue for the business. So you're going to need to look at improving the business in other ways to make revenue, by either recruiting more agents or pushing your business in another direction. Okay. So those are all big decisions that come later, but $10 million is the point where I was able to step back and actually start my new business, Plum Partners, in 2022, where we help other agents take this exact journey in real estate to start their own brand, build their sales teams, build their rent rolls, and work towards building a great real estate business that's going to look after them. Okay. Now, number 12, guys, this is the last thing, and it's so important. It's the most important thing in business and in life itself. You have to look after yourself during the process. You have to stay healthy. This is up to you. The most important thing throughout this whole journey is your mental health. Okay. I'm not just talking about depression. Okay. I'm talking about just being able to persist consistently, no matter the trials and tribulations you're going to go through. You're going to go through some seriously hard times. You're going to go through times where you think you're running out of money. You're going to go through times where staff members dog you, where you lose 5 listings in a row, where money's tight, where agents are bugging you for higher commissions. There's so many things that are going wrong all the time, and it's really easy sometimes to just quit. You know, not for good quit, like throw in the towel altogether, but quit the week, quit the day. You can't. You've got to give every day your best and know that this is the process. And you have to look after yourself by staying healthy. Exercise is so important. So, you know, that daily exercise, whatever it is, early mornings, early to bed, you know, to the gym, walks, whatever it is that's going to get you that mental clarity, release those endorphins, make you feel good. That is the strategy to be consistent over a long period of time. I've always looked after my health as one of the first priorities, and I think it's one of the reasons why I'm still in business today. It's a great piece of advice that I'll give you today. Thanks for listening, guys. That is my blueprint from starting a business to getting to $10 million in revenue and then taking the next step in your career. Thanks for listening to Get Keen, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you for tuning into the Get Keen podcast. If today's episode inspired you, please show your support with a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And make sure you subscribe on your favorite platform too. Don't stop there. Join our community of forward thinkers by connecting with me on social media at Dan_Lee_Plum. I'm looking forward to exploring more strategies and insights with you on your journey to the top. Until next time, keep getting keen.